When was the last time you thought about where your energy was going? We often think that our resources are endless. Time, effort, patience, emotional return. We invest ourselves in work, relationships, friends, and daily activities. But what if people and situations around you literally steal this energy? Energy is what moves us forward, allows us to dream, create, and take care of our loved ones. But when we are surrounded by the wrong people or continue to stay in toxic situations, our energy begins to disappear, leaving a void in its wake. You feel tired, irritated, and anxious. It may happen unnoticeably, but sooner or later you realize that something is wrong. Today we will talk about how to protect your energy. This video is not just a list of tips. This is a guide for those who want to take control of their lives and learn how to make decisions that lead to harmony and growth. We are different. Here are 2 key topics. The first is 9 signs that it is time to leave. Sometimes we cling to work, relationships, or friendships so much that we don't notice how it turns into an anchor. You waste your energy, endure discomfort, but you continue to stay because you are afraid of change. However, the art of grooming is not a weakness, but a form of self-care. The second topic is 10 signs of deception and envy that will help you understand who in your environment really supports you and who hides their true intentions. Sometimes toxicity is disguised as friendliness, envy as compliments, and manipulation as caring. The Stoics said, "We cannot control the actions of others, but we can control our perceptions." But how to find a balance? How to stop wasting time and energy on something that does not bring happiness and development? It is not easy, but awareness is the first step. Knowing these signs will help you understand when you need to pause, leave, or set boundaries. Imagine that your life is a garden. Every day you water it, take care of the plants, pull out the weeds. But what if you don't notice how the weeds are spreading, engulfing your garden? Or, even worse, do you allow someone to destroy what you have worked so hard to create? Your energy is the fuel for your success, your happiness, and you have the right to choose what to spend it on. The Stoics taught us to see things as they are and not to let the outside world destroy our inner peace. In this video, you will learn how to recognize the signs that it is time to move on and understand who from your environment is dragging you down. You will learn how to protect yourself and your energy by creating a space for those who really appreciate you. Your energy is your wealth. Take care of her. Let us start with the first sign of when it is best to leave. Have you ever wondered how sincere the people around you are? Our envy and lies hidden behind their smiles. We often think that we can determine who is honest with us, but in fact it is not always so easy. Envy and deception can be carefully hidden, and such people can be very dangerous. Imagine that you are celebrating a major achievement at work, and you are surrounded by congratulations. But for some reason it seems to you that something is wrong. Perhaps someone in the crowd is hiding envy behind fake congratulations. They may smile, but their eyes can tell a different story. These subtle but important signals can alert you to the presence of envy and deception. Today, I will tell you about the methods that will help you recognize envy and lies in others. These techniques are based on the ancient lessons of Stoic philosophy, which have stood the test of time for thousands of years. They will help you not only manage your emotions and achieve inner peace, but also equip you with tools to recognize and resist envy and deception on the part of others. By applying these principles, you will not only become stronger, but also wiser in creating and maintaining relationships. These methods will protect you from toxic communication and contribute to a more harmonious and happy life. The first step: observe the actions. One of the key principles in Stoic philosophy is don't believe words, believe actions. A person's behavior is the most accurate reflection of his character and intentions. Words can be manipulative and deceptive. When you observe people, pay attention to the inconsistencies between their words and actions. Someone may seem friendly and supportive in their speeches, but their actions may indicate the opposite. For example, a colleague may praise you for your success, but undermine your efforts behind your back. It is actions, not words, that reveal true intentions. Think about it. Have you ever had the feeling that someone is saying one thing and doing another? Have you ever met people who made promises to help, but never fulfilled them? These differences in behavior are clear signs of insincerity, which may have roots in envy. As the saying goes, if you want to be a good person, be one. Actions are irrefutable evidence of true character. Let us take an example. You have a friend who constantly claims to be there for you, but disappears as soon as you start having difficulties. This behavior indicates his insincerity and unreliability. It is actions, not words, that show the true essence of a person. Try to notice how people behave when they think that no one is watching them, or when there is nothing special at stake in their actions. This will most likely give you an accurate idea of their true nature and help you distinguish true intentions from those that are masked by sweet words. This practice helps not only to see the real essence of our friends and acquaintances, but also makes us think about our own behavior. Remember, our character is formed through our actions, not words. Number 2, pay attention to how people react to your success in everyday life. The reaction of others to your achievements can tell a lot about their true feelings. Some may hide their displeasure at the success of others by showing unfounded criticism or fake congratulations. This not only harms your relationship, but also reveals its negative features. There is a saying, the one who really respects and supports you will be glad of your success, because he understands that each of your achievements is a step forward on your path to self-realization. While envious people perceive your success as a threat, realizing that they themselves are not trying hard enough. Remember how your loved ones reacted to your achievements last time. Their reactions will help you determine which of them is sincere. The people who support you will share your joy and celebrate your achievements, sincerely rejoicing at the results of your work. On the contrary, the envious or insincere may express unfounded criticism or even try to sabotage your success by making subtle remarks or belittling your achievements, perceiving them as an accident and ignoring your efforts. What should you do when you realize that someone from your environment is jealous of you? Will you openly confront them, or would you prefer to distance yourself? It follows from philosophy that we must learn to let go of what we cannot control. Focus on your own development and on building a sincere relationship, and not on plunging into a cycle of envy and lies. Another way to recognize people as honesty is to pay attention to how they interact with those who cannot benefit them. Number 3. Watch how they behave towards those who are in a less advantageous position. Stoic philosophy teaches that respect and compassion should be shown to everyone, especially those who are weaker. True noble souls never look down on others. If you notice that some people show kindness only when it is beneficial to them or when there is an opportunity to be visible, this may indicate envy or lies. People who are sincere about others show respect and kindness to everyone, regardless of their position. They understand that everyone has their own intrinsic value, regardless of whether they communicate with the Prime Minister or with the service staff. On the opposite side of the spectrum, envious and insincere people often humiliate those who have no value for them, demonstrating arrogance and rudeness. If you notice that someone's attitude towards people without power is dramatically different from their behavior towards those with power, this should alert you. Deceitful personalities often reveal their true nature when interacting with vulnerable people. For example, a colleague who is always friendly to management but rude to subordinates gives a sign of lack of respect. They are not interested in the people themselves, but only in power. By observing how others treat less influential people, you will also be able to analyze your own behavior. How do you treat vulnerable people? Recognizing and correcting flaws in your behavior can help you become a true Stoic. Will you be able to look closely and find such people around you? Try to apply this approach in everyday life and pay attention to the changes that are taking place. Number 4. Separate praise from flattery. Excessive stares are a clear sign of deception and envy, which many people often turn a blind eye to. Sincere compliments are always constructive, but when they become excessive, you should be wary. Remember that the most important thing is how you perceive yourself, not what others say. Your sense of self-esteem should not depend on other people as compliments, especially if they do not come from the heart. Do the praises you have received correspond to the successes you have achieved? With excessive praise, ask yourself the question, does this person have hidden intentions? Is he trying to take advantage of your situation? Excessive flattery often expresses insincerity, and the person who uses it may be trying to hide his envy or manipulate you. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, noted that what matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to it. Receiving compliments can be fun, but if there are bad intentions behind them, it can reduce your vigilance and make you more vulnerable to manipulation. Instead of getting carried away with insincere praise, learn to evaluate them objectively, remaining committed to your core values and not allowing yourself to be deceived. When you evaluate a person, look at their behavior in different situations. Do his actions match his words? After all, it is easy to talk, but it is difficult to do. Stoic philosophy encourages us to evaluate whether people's actions coincide with their stated beliefs and principles. Keep an eye on how a person behaves in different circumstances, whether he adheres to his values and principles, or changing his behavior depending on the situation, violates them for personal gain. An envious and insincere person is often unable to maintain consistency in their actions. He can behave affectionately and praise you in public, but talk negatively about you behind your back. Pay attention to the strange gestures and repetitive patterns of behavior that may indicate duality. Don't jump to conclusions. Observe and analyze whether these are isolated cases or part of their regular behavior. In addition, it is worth paying attention to how they relate to others. A sincere person will show respect and fairness to everyone without trying to discriminate against anyone for their own benefit. Consistency in behavior testifies to the honesty and reliability of a person. Ask yourself, are there people in your life who act inconsistently? Do your surroundings support their values and principles in all situations? If the answer is no, be careful. Such people can hide envy and lies. Number 6. Pay attention to their reaction to criticism. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoics, said, "If someone can show me what I think or act wrongly without compromising the truth, the one who continues to deceive himself and remain in the dark suffers." This quote emphasizes that truly wise and sincere people are always open to constructive criticism, since their main goal is the truth and not a threat to their self-esteem. On the other hand, envious and deceitful people often react negatively to criticism and become defensive. Such a reaction may arise out of fear of exposing their true nature or unwillingness to admit their shortcomings. Have you noticed how your colleague or friend behaves defensively when criticized? This may indicate their insecurity and lack of self-esteem. Let us take an example. A good and sincere leader will always listen to employee feedback and respond constructively to them, realizing that this helps him develop and creates a positive working atmosphere. On the contrary, an insincere and envious leader may ignore or even punish those who criticize him, creating an atmosphere of fear and tension. Ask yourself, when was the last time you were criticized? How did you react? Were you ready to accept criticism and reflect on it? Or did you immediately try to justify yourself? Your answer can tell a lot, not only about you, but also about the people around you. Number 7. Pay attention to unconscious comparisons. In everyday life, we often come across harmless remarks that may actually be a manifestation of hidden envy and deception. According to Stoicism, awareness and understanding of such comparisons is one of the signs of a sincere attitude. When someone unknowingly compares you to others, they can reveal more about themselves than about you. These comparisons often arise from feelings of insecurity and envy. For example, if your colleague constantly compares your success with the success of others, it may mean that he feels threatened and tries to reduce your importance by making you feel not good enough. Imagine a situation. You have achieved significant success at work, and instead of congratulating your colleague, he makes remarks. This is not just an innocent comparison, but a sign of envy. Your colleague may be jealous of your success and tries to downplay it. Being aware of unconscious comparisons helps you recognize who really supports you. Real friends don't need comparisons with others to express their admiration or respect. They value you for who you are, not in comparison to someone else. Think about it. Who in your environment is prone to frequent unconscious comparisons? Is it possible to rely on such people? How do you feel about humiliating comparisons? Point 8. Pay attention to their reactions in case of personal failures. Stoicism teaches that failure is not only a test of tolerance and maturity, but also a reflection of the true essence of a person and his intentions. Strong and honest people accept failures with humility and are willing to learn from their own mistakes. They understand that failure is an inevitable part of life, providing opportunities for growth and development. They do not blame others for their mistakes and do not hide mistakes, but recognize them and try to improve themselves. These people deserve respect. On the contrary, envious and dishonest people treat failures differently. They tend to look for external excuses, blaming circumstances or others instead of learning from their mistakes. They try to hide their mistakes and justify their actions. They may criticize others or come up with stories to protect their ego. Have you ever met people who blame others for their failures? Perhaps this indicates envy and deception. To recognize this more clearly, pay attention to how they behave in such situations. Do they admit their mistakes and are they ready to learn? Or vice versa, avoid responsibility. An honest person does not hesitate to admit his mistakes and strives to improve, unlike a deceiver who will always protect his ego and avoid the truth. As Zen Master Daisei said, the true nature of man manifests itself in the most difficult trials. This idea echoes Stoic philosophy and reminds us that the reaction to failure reflects the true essence of a person. Observe how the people around you are coping with difficulties, and do not let their superficial words mislead you. Have you had any such observations? If yes, please like and leave comments. Your experience is very important to us. Point 10. Evaluate how they share personal information. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul is colored by the color of its thoughts." The way a person shares information not only reflects his inner thoughts, but also gives an idea of his sincerity or cunning. Stoic philosophy advises paying attention to how a person talks about their victories and defeats. A sincere person shares modestly, emphasizing the lessons learned. In contrast, a hypocritical person tends to exaggerate his achievements or even invent them in order to impress and manipulate. When discussing failures, he often blames external factors instead of taking responsibility. This may indicate his insincerity and inner discomfort. Be careful when information is spread with bad intentions. Such people can divulge trusted secrets or distort reality, thus undermining trust in others. When someone spreads false or negative information, they try to manipulate the perception of others and create chaos. This usually reflects his own internal problems. Does such a person often speak ill of others? Is he inclined to compare himself with others in order to emphasize his importance? Such actions are not just petty intrigues, they are manifestations of envy and inner depravity. When we become more aware of such signs, we better protect ourselves from negative influences. If you have any doubts, do not hesitate to ask questions. Listen to your inner voice. Have you ever had a situation where a colleague seems friendly and ready to help, but you still feel uncomfortable in his presence? If you answer in the affirmative, stop and listen to yourself. Perhaps this is a sign that your instincts are warning you about dishonesty or envy on his part. Remember the moments when you felt wary of someone without having a clear reason. It is your instincts that come into play, protecting you from potential threats. If you feel that something is wrong, take time to reflect to understand what is happening. Does this person often compete with you? Are his compliments considered insincere? Such trifles can indicate envy and deception. Think about why you feel uncomfortable around this person. If the reason lies in his erratic behavior and the discrepancy between words and deeds, this may be a warning. Even if the person is not attacking you directly, hidden competition and subtle remarks can indicate envy. In such situations, do not ignore your instincts. This is a powerful tool for recognizing people who are really kind and those who are just pretending. However, relying on instincts, do not forget about reason. Use both of these aspects for balance and informed decision-making. Recognizing envy and deception is not an easy task, but it is an important skill to protect yourself and your true values in life. Envious and dishonest people can be among their loved ones and in everyday contexts seem like good friends, but in fact sow uncertainty and conflict. Stoic philosophy teaches us to live calmly and meaningfully. By applying its principles, we can identify and eliminate negativity from our lives. Remember that life is too valuable to waste on people who don't support you. Use the methods we talked about today to recognize and avoid those who are full of envy and deception. You deserve a life filled with growth and true relationships. There are times in life when it seems to you that you are immersed in a situation that slowly drains your energy, undermines your happiness, health, and self-esteem. This is not a sign of weakness. It is a quiet signal that it is time to change something. Perhaps you are in a relationship where you are no longer appreciated, at a job that drains you of energy and does not bring satisfaction, or stuck in a cycle of responsibilities and guilt that leaves you feeling empty. Today we will talk about situations where leaving becomes not just a choice, but an act of courage and self-respect. We will show you how following Stoic wisdom helps you make difficult decisions, which contributes to your personal growth and living in accordance with true values. Respect is the foundation of healthy relationships, whether personal or professional. When it disappears, it affects every interaction. Perhaps your ideas are discarded in meetings, your partner does not let you speak out, or friends ignore your boundaries. These small but frequent situations accumulate and make you feel invisible, as if you are standing on an unstable foundation, ready to collapse at any moment. Stoics remind us that our self-esteem should not depend on other people's opinions or actions, but it becomes incredibly difficult to maintain this feeling when disrespect reigns around. If there is not enough respect at work, enthusiasm and productivity begin to fade. Your efforts go unnoticed, or worse, others take credit for your work. This is not just a blow to professional pride. It is a sign that you are underestimated in this environment. This also happens in personal relationships. When a partner, friends, or relatives do not show respect, it is not only insulting, it is destructive to your self-esteem and mental health. Leaving such situations is not surrender, but the return of dignity and self-respect. Stoic philosophy teaches you to focus on what is in your power, on your own actions and reactions. You cannot control how others treat you, but you can choose to leave an environment where there is no respect. This step protects your emotional and mental well-being and sets an important precedent for future relationships. You declare to yourself and the world that you are not ready to put up with disrespect. This is a difficult decision that requires awareness and inner strength, but by making it, you free up space for respectful and inspiring interactions. Every moment you spend in an environment where you are not respected is a wasted time to build a life in which you are appreciated. This departure is a step towards growth and strengthening of self-esteem. Your health is the most valuable thing you have, the foundation for everything else in life. If you realize that you are in a situation that undermines your physical or mental health, this is a clear signal that something needs to change. A work environment can lead to emotional burnout, constant stress, and even serious health problems, including insomnia and high blood pressure. Our body and mind are only able to withstand a certain amount of stress before they start to malfunction. It is very important to pay attention to these warning signs and take action before the situation goes too far. The Stoics attached great importance to balance and moderation. And when we exceed our limits, it is a clear violation of these principles. In personal relationships, the stakes are no less high. If you are in an environment where conflict, disrespect, or emotional pressure negatively affect your mental health, it is important to be aware of the harm being done. Constant feelings of anxiety, depression, and a feeling of being locked in can be a consequence of being in a toxic relationship. Stoics teach us to value inner peace and avoid those who violate it. Leaving such a relationship is not a sign of weakness, but a bold step to protect your mental health and inner peace. Physical health also plays a key role. Perhaps you are engaged in activities that physically exhaust you, or you are following a lifestyle that damages your body. It can be a sport that your body can no longer handle, or habits that gradually undermine your health. Ignoring the physical consequences can lead to long-term problems. The Stoic wisdom of living in harmony with nature includes respect for one's body as an integral part of our existence. We must listen to our physical needs and respect our limits. Getting out of situations that are harmful to your health is a manifestation of wisdom and awareness that your well-being should come first. This awareness implies that it is important to let go of what no longer serves you and value health above external commitments and expectations. Imagine how your life will change if you start putting your mental and physical well-being first. This will open up the opportunity for you to recover, upgrade, and grow. This may mean finding a job that respects personal boundaries, maintaining relationships, or choosing a lifestyle that promotes your well-being. Health is not something that can be risked. It is the foundation on which your full and meaningful life is built. The Stoics remind us that true strength lies in maintaining inner peace and harmony. Therefore, put health as a priority. Make the necessary changes and remember, leaving what is hurting you is an important act of self-care. The third is your values, the basic principles that guide you in life. They define who you are and what you stand for. When you find yourself in situations that force you to compromise these values, a deep internal conflict arises that generates serious anxiety. Whether it is at work, in a personal relationship, or in any other area, living contrary to your principles causes feelings of dissatisfaction and anxiety. Living in accordance with your beliefs is the foundation of true happiness. Think about a situation where the job requires you to act contrary to your moral principles. Every time you give into your values for the sake of work, you feel like you risk losing touch with yourself. Stoics such as Marcus Aurelius and Seneca believed that integrity and virtue are the foundation of a full and meaningful life. If your work conflicts with these ideals, it may be time to consider making a change. In a personal relationship, compromising on your values can also be devastating. You may be around people whose actions and views contradict your beliefs. Over time, this leads to internal strife and causes constant mental anguish. Stoics teach us to choose carefully who we spend time with, because the people around us have a significant impact on our character and well-being. Sometimes compromise is unacceptable, and care becomes necessary to preserve one's own integrity. Leaving situations that force you to compromise principles is not weakness, but a demonstration of inner strength and self-respect. This indicates that you put your authenticity and principles above comfort and approval. Stoic philosophy encourages us to act in accordance with our true nature and remain true to our virtues, regardless of external circumstances. This helps us create inner peace and harmony, which is critically important for our well-being. Imagine the feeling of freedom and strength that comes when your life is fully consistent with your values. By making decisions that reflect your principles, you form a solid foundation of self-esteem and confidence. You become a person you can rely on and trust because you consistently choose the right path, not the easy one. The Stoics believed that such integrity was the key to true happiness and satisfaction. It is important to remember that actions against your principles, even in small things, can lead to a cumulative effect. Every time you compromise on values, it makes it easier to repeat such actions, which, in the end, takes you away from your true self. Staying true to yourself and leaving situations that require concessions to your values is a powerful statement about your personality and the significance of your beliefs. This act of courage and honesty can inspire others to make positive changes. When we stop developing, we begin to feel dissatisfaction and stagnation, as if we are stuck in one place, where every day is similar to the previous one. This can manifest itself in your career, personal life, or hobbies. The Stoics believed in the constant pursuit of wisdom and self-development, seeing life as a path of endless growth. When you no longer feel like moving forward, it as a clear signal for change. Consider a career. Perhaps your job used to be exciting, full of opportunities to learn new skills and advance. Now it can turn into the performance of routine duties without new challenges and prospects. Such stagnation can cause feelings of dissatisfaction and boredom. The Stoics called for striving for excellence in all matters and looking for opportunities for growth. If your current job no longer gives you such opportunities, it may be time to find a new direction that will rekindle your interest. In personal life, lack of development can also be a significant obstacle. The relationship should be dynamic and promote the growth of both partners. If you notice that the relationship has reached an impasse and lost inspiration, it may be worth reviewing it. This also applies to your hobbies. If what used to bring joy has become boring, then it is time to look for new directions for growth and learning. The Stoics appreciated the pursuit of knowledge and personal development and encouraged us to constantly seek experiences that challenge and inspire. Leaving a situation where you are not growing up is an act of wisdom and self-care. recognition of your potential. The Stoics believed that our time on earth is limited and we should use it wisely, striving for self-improvement and a better understanding of the world, looking for new opportunities and challenges. You respect this principle and make the most of your life. Imagine the sense of satisfaction that comes from constant growth and learning. By going beyond comfort, you develop new skills, get a fresh perspective on things, and become more resilient and flexible. Constant growth improves not only your professional and personal life, but also contributes to your happiness and well-being in general. The Stoics believed that true satisfaction comes from living in harmony with your nature, which includes the pursuit of learning and development. Growth often requires abandoning the familiar and convenient. This may be a frightening step, but it is necessary to unlock your potential. The Stoics taught that discomfort and challenges are important conditions for personal growth. By embracing changes and new opportunities, you strengthen your fortitude and resilience. This willingness to grow and learn is proof of your commitment to living a full and meaningful life. Each of us is familiar with the situation when we give everything, and our efforts are barely noticed, let alone appreciated. Whether it as a job, friendship, or family relationship, the feeling of invisibility can be incredibly frustrating. You invest a lot of time in work, helping a friend, or constantly supporting loved ones, but you find that your efforts are taken for granted or simply ignored. It is draining, leaving a feeling of emptiness. When your efforts and dedication go unnoticed, it is a clear signal for change. At work, this can manifest itself in the form of constant efforts without a single word of gratitude from management. Your efforts are taken for granted, and soon you feel burnout. The Stoic approach teaches us to focus on our own actions and merits rather than seek recognition. But it is important to understand that when the environment does not appreciate you, it can negatively affect self-esteem. In a personal relationship, ignoring can be even more painful. Imagine that you are always organizing meetings, supporting or sacrificing for others, but your gestures go unnoticed. Over time, such an imbalance causes resentment and a feeling of emptiness. You may start to wonder why keep trying if it is not appreciated. It is not about craving praise, but about mutual respect and recognition. To leave a situation where you are taken for granted is an act of self-respect. It is not selfishness, but understanding your worth and refusing to accept less than you deserve. Stoics remind us that we should not depend on someone else's approval to feel our own worth. By leaving an environment where your efforts are not appreciated, You create a space for new opportunities and relationships where your contribution will be noticed and appreciated. This decision can be difficult, and there is often a fear of the unknown. What if you leave and don't find a better one? But staying in a place where you are not appreciated can be more destructive in the long run. It slowly erodes self-esteem and reduces happiness. Stoics teach us to act according to our principles and values, even if it requires difficult decisions. Putting our well-being and development above our usual comfort. Imagine where this shift can lead. It will not only boost your morale, but also bring your life in line with the principles of mutual respect. Being in a place where your efforts are appreciated and recognized is extremely important for maintaining healthy relationships and a positive attitude towards yourself. As the Stoics remind you, your dignity is innate and should not depend on the recognition of others. Be firm in this belief and don't be afraid to walk away from those who don't appreciate what you bring. Staying in a situation just because of guilt or commitment can be extremely draining. We often feel obligated to stay at work or in a relationship because we feel guilty or think we should stay. However, if the main reason you stay is for fear of disappointing others, then perhaps this role no longer brings you joy or does not meet your career goals. Thoughts of leaving can cause feelings of guilt, especially if you are worried about how it will affect the team or are afraid of disappointing your superiors. But by continuing to stay because of the commitment, you risk losing yourself. Stoics emphasize the importance of aligning actions with inner values and recognizing that you are in control of your decisions, not the opinions of others. In a personal relationship, feelings of guilt and obligation can be even stronger. You can stay in a friendship or romantic relationship because you feel responsible for the happiness of another, or because you have been together for a long time. You may be afraid that leaving will hurt someone else, or you may believe that you have to continue. However, if the relationship is no longer healthy and satisfying, then staying in it out of a sense of duty is unfair to anyone. Stoics remind us that genuine relationships should be built on mutual respect and voluntary commitments, not on guilt or duty. Acting with honesty and integrity, both to yourself and to others, is extremely important. Leaving a situation where you stay only out of guilt or commitment is an act of self-respect and authenticity. It is a recognition that your time and energy are valuable and you deserve to spend it on something that really brings you joy and satisfaction. Imagine the freedom and inner strength that arise when your decisions match your true self. By freeing yourself from guilt and unnecessary obligations, you open the way for opportunities and relationships that are in harmony with you. Acting with honesty and integrity, both to yourself and to others, is extremely important. Leaving a situation where you stay only out of guilt or commitment is end of self-respect and authenticity. It is a recognition that your time and energy are valuable and you deserve to spend it on something that really brings you joy and satisfaction. Imagine the freedom and inner strength that arise when your decisions match your true self. By freeing yourself from guilt and unnecessary obligations, you open the way for opportunities and relationships that are in harmony with you. This step leads to greater happiness, satisfaction, and personal growth. The Stoics believed that living virtuously meant making decisions that reflected core values and striving for what really mattered without succumbing to external pressure. Of course, leaving because of guilt or obligations can be difficult, because it is sometimes associated with discomfort and difficult conversations. But in the end, this path leads to genuine contentment and inner peace, giving wholeness and peace. Trust is the foundation of all meaningful relationships. Be it friends, trust is the foundation of all meaningful relationships. Be it friendship, romantic connection, or professional cooperation. It gives you a sense of security and recognition. When trust is undermined, it is like losing ground. Such moments can manifest themselves through deception, betrayal, or lies, leaving painful wounds. The Stoics emphasized the importance of honesty and loyalty to our principles, because our character is determined by our actions and the trust that we build with others. When trust is broken, it signals a profound change in the relationship. Imagine that you found out that a close friend is spreading false rumors about you, or discovered cheating on the part of a partner. These moments are not just painful, they change the very structure of relationships, making the previous degree of openness and vulnerability impossible. Marcus Aurelius taught us to accept the reality and actions of others, but also to protect our inner peace and integrity. In the workplace, a serious breakdown of trust can manifest itself when a colleague appropriates your merits or a boss makes empty promises, which undermines confidence and creates a toxic environment. In the case where trust becomes an obstacle to effective and ethical work, it may be worth considering leaving. It is not about avoiding difficulties, but about protecting your emotional and mental health. Trust, once undermined, is difficult to restore. Think about the long-term consequences of being in an environment where trust is undermined. Constant doubts and worries can seriously harm your psychological health, undermining faith in yourself and others. Stoic philosophers taught that peace of mind should not be sacrificed in order to maintain a relation. Think about the long-term consequences of being in an environment where trust is undermined. Constant doubts and worries can, of course, leaving a relationship where trust is undermined can be extremely difficult because it involves difficult conversations and the loss of connections that were dear to you. But remember, your well-being and integrity are most important. The Stoics teach us to face such challenges with courage and wisdom, because the virtuous path is often the most difficult. Losing yourself is one of the most devastating aspects of such situations. It can manifest itself in social circles and leave a feeling of emptiness and disunity. Think about situations where you make constant concessions, sacrificing your desires and values for the sake of preserving peace or to please a partner. Over time, this leads to a loss of self-awareness. You may notice that in the process of meeting the expectations of others, you lose your own identity. This often leads to a deep sense of loss and confusion. In a career, this condition can occur when you are so focused on career achievements or what is considered an external success that you forget about your own motives and values. As a result, you may find yourself in a position that looks prestigious, but causes inner dissatisfaction and separation from your true hobbies. The Stoics advised you to reflect on what is really valuable and strive to ensure that the work is in harmony with your beliefs and interests. It is important to find roles and work environments that allow you to be yourself and benefit in a way that matters to you. Social circles and friendships can also contribute to the loss of self. If you are surrounded by people with values and lifestyles that are alien to you, it is easy to start adjusting to fit in. Over time, this undermines the sense of individuality. The Stoics considered it important to choose your environment deliberately so that the relationship reflects your true self. Seneca advised building friendship on mutual respect and common values, because such connections help to develop and remain true to oneself. Getting yourself back may not be easy. This can include difficult decisions and breaking up with people or situations that were once close. However, this is a necessary step towards a life that truly reflects your values and aspirations. The Stoics called for approaching such a process with courage and self-compassion, realizing that true satisfaction comes from living in harmony with oneself. Sometimes you can reach the limit when you've done your best, but you don't see any progress or change. It can be a feeling of exhaustion when, despite all the efforts made, the situation remains unchanged. This condition occurs in different aspects of life, relationships, careers, or personal projects. when you put in your best efforts, but the result does not change. It may be worth recognizing that this does not reflect your value or diligence, but suggests that it is time to move on. Think about situations where you have tried in every way to improve the relationship, to be patient and empathetic, but they remain tense or even toxic. This is a sign that continuing can do more harm than good. There may be a project in your career to which you have given a lot of time and effort, used various approaches, and worked to improve, but there have been no improvements. This can cause feelings of burnout and frustration. It is important to know when to change direction, look for new opportunities, or even leave in order to preserve your well-being and professional growth. Creative endeavors and personal goals can also reach a point where progress seems impossible despite all efforts and dedication. This condition easily leads to self-hatred and despair. Sometimes the wisdom is to understand when it is time to let go and direct your energy to more promising goals. Leaving after you've done your best is not a sign of failure. It is accepting the limits of your influence and taking control of the situation. When you leave something that no longer serves you, you create a place for new opportunities and experiences that are more in line with your goals and values. Imagine the relief and freedom that comes from acknowledging that you've done your best. By letting go of the situation, you break free from the cycle of frustration and despair, opening the door to new opportunities and beginnings. The Stoics taught that life is a series of chances for growth, and sometimes growth means knowing when to leave. Approach this decision with understanding and empathy for yourself. Leaving does not detract from the value of your efforts or the significance of what you have sought to achieve. It highlights your resilience and commitment to living an authentic and purposeful life. Stoics called for this to be seen as a step towards new paths that can bring more satisfaction and success. In the journey of life, knowing when to leave is an act of courage and self-respect. It is about the value of your inner peace, integrity, and growth. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe and like it.